So, I'm Scott, and Vinny had emailed me and asked me if I would share my personal story, because she knows a lot of it. And whether I'd be willing to share that with you guys, and kind of the value that Trinity has had for me over the last 4 years. And I don't enjoy speaking in front of groups, so this is a great opportunity for me. But I recognize that I wanted to share it. And as I kind of meditated on the value that you have all had for me, it was very much a message of gratitude that I had gained so much by being part of this community. And to kind of provide context, I have to tell you about my history, like how I came to Trinity 4 years ago, where from the time I was a late teenager into my early 30s, I had attended churches where the message was that we were all wretched sinners, that we, our best was never going to be good enough for God because we could never attain perfection, that our best efforts were like filthy rags to Him, that we weren't worthy of living, that we were only able to draw our next breath because of the grace of God. And that was oppressive to me. Yet I accepted it. It was comfortable. It was spoon-fed to me. And as a church, we ate that up. That was our truth. But it even went beyond that God had kind of made all the decisions for us throughout our life. That it wasn't our responsibility to make our own choices. It was merely to pray hard enough to receive the revelation of God about whether I should go to Virginia Tech or UVA, or whether I should buy that car, or take this job offer or that job offer, or who I should marry. I had really no freedom in that mentality. It was a prison. The thing that I found very comfortable was, in fact, a prison to me. I remember, praying at the end of each day, before I went to bed, God, please forgive me for all the many sins that I have committed on that day, some of which I couldn't even think of. Sometimes I didn't feel like I had been very bad, like I had just lived a normal life. Yet this is what I was taught to pray, and I believed it, but I never felt forgiven. I viewed God as like this micromanaging judge that just wanted to condemn me. I felt no love for Him, and it's no wonder I felt no love for God. I was supposed to love Him, but I can't just spring that up out of a heart that feels like it's condemned by the very person who made it. That was challenging. And so then I come to Trinity 4 years ago. I moved into this area, and I was invited here by an acquaintance. It was very strange. It was very different on the surface. We don't have robes. We didn't wear robes. There was no band up here leading worship. We knelt a lot here. We never knelt in my churches. And it was, on a surface level, it was very strange to me. But on a deeper level, what was also very strange was that I saw within this community people would share their ideas. And they were very different about how they saw God, who Jesus was, what they felt was right and wrong. And that was not what we were taught in my church. We were given the truth on a silver platter and said, this is the truth. And it was our job to accept it. But we didn't have a choice in that because that was defined as the truth. We were not encouraged to think for ourselves. And that's one of the things that I find so incredible about this church is that we share our ideas. We're all different. We're all uniquely and wonderfully made. And of course we're going to have different perspectives about who God is and what our purpose is in life. And there was a lot of things that were very attractive to me there. But even though we disagreed, we loved each other here. And that was attractive to me. But it was also very threatening because I came from a place where we all thought the same. We were not encouraged to think for ourselves. And it was life-changing for me to come here. It was difficult. I mean, I remember a couple instances where I really felt so threatened by the freedom that we have here that I was going to leave. And that would have been a tragedy. I mean, knowing who I am today and all that I've gained from this congregation, to have left because I was afraid of people having ideas that were different than mine. And now I can see God through the lenses that you guys see him through. And I remember one very key instance where Vinny was preaching right over here. And she was talking about ancient Hebrew culture, how when the son came of age, he could make business deals in the town just like his father, who owned all the property. That they shared a reputation. They were treated as the same person. And then she went on to extrapolate that with Jesus, where Jesus, when he was in the temple, lashing out against the Pharisees, he says, I and my Father are one and the same. And that was mind-blowing to me because I had always viewed Jesus as this merciful, loving, kind, and compassionate God. But I had always viewed God the Father as micromanaging and judging and condemning and making all of my choices for me and giving me no freedom. But when she said, Jesus said, I and my Father are one and the same, I realized I had seen God the Father so differently than the way Jesus was saying God the Father is. And that was a huge turning point for me. I started unraveling all of the theology that I had adopted in myself and really started addressing the very core issues within me that wouldn't allow me to love myself, to feel love from another person, especially from God. And as I saw God the Father as this loving God who wants the best for me, who has made me to make my own choices and to support me through my life, I came to love God. And then I learned to love myself. And that was huge. That totally changed my life because it allowed me to receive love from other people. And then as these things within me were addressed, this healing went on, I could then love others. And I actually felt like I had a purpose of my own choosing. And about that time when these things were going on, I felt like I was getting it. This, my purpose in life, at least in this present day, I really feel is to feed people. I want to feed people. I have a passion for that. Where in this country where we are so rich, we have people who are hungry. And I was angry. I was really angry over that. I wanted to do something about it. But not because God told me to, but because I wanted to. That was the freedom that I had to make the choice to do that. And I take joy in it. I'm working towards those goals. I work with my hands to feed people, and I love it. I feel like I know who I am. I'm loved by God. I know that I'm loved by people. I know that I'm imperfect. And I accept that. And I am okay with that because I know who I am. But because of the way we work here, the things that I have heard as I talk with people, I also know that I am worthy of love. I am worthy of belonging. That is huge for me. And that is why my story is so much about the gratitude that I have for this church. Because I didn't have that before, but I have it now, and it is